So yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation to all the organizers. For me, it's a little bit more special, I think, because last year I was one of the organizers of the event, and I'm really happy to be here today. So as Angie said, I'm kind of your more classic or standard academic career, let's say. The one that is projected towards a professorship, although, I mean, I'm not a professor, and I think this is going to be the hardest transition yet to come. Before I start about my own experience, I was wondering how many of you are actually interested in academia now? Can you raise your hands? Oh, wow, okay. Oh, I didn't expect that, so many. Okay, good. So I hope I don't ruin your expectations. Okay, so the organizer asked me to respond to a couple of questions with my talk, and the first one is, why did I do a postdoc? Well, I actually did 3, so it's a long journey, and each one of them had a little bit of a different motivation behind, so I'm gonna quickly walk you through all of them. So in 2015, I graduated in Florence. Apparently, this is the only picture of the event. I'm kind of upset. I talked to my mom, and she said, well, Claudia, this was your 3rd graduation. I mean, we were kind of sick of it. And so, yeah, and so the reasons why I stay, so I did a postdoc just to stay in the lab that I was, where I did my PhD, and I decided to stay for a couple of reasons. First is that I really liked what I was doing, and I started new projects on the last year of my PhD. So I wanted to finish them, or at least bring them forward. I also was very poor. I had nothing saved with a PhD salary, so I really couldn't think of a big move or going somewhere else. And then I also, less than a year before, I started a new romantic relationship with a beautiful, tall, brown-eyed guy, and I was really much into him, and he also was a PhD student graduating the year after. So the plan was that I was going to wait for him, and then together we will move to, beautiful place. And that's exactly what happened. So we moved in 2017 together to the University of Boulder, Colorado. University of Colorado, Boulder. It's really pretty. You see here the Flatirons. This was also in the first picture of my presentation. And it's a little bit in the middle of the United States. It's a very good university for postgraduate research. And in fact, both of us, we're both scientists, different fields. We had our own postdoc in a very good lab, our own visa, and I think that was a really important part of our decision-making process to have our own thing going on, but together. And definitely the scientific challenge was the main reason why we moved, but also we felt like we could move somewhere that was more of a personal also challenge. So yeah, it's definitely what happened. Then, of course, COVID arrived. We were still in Boulder, but we wanted to kind of get closer to home. So I applied for a Marie Curie, and I got it. So this was 2020, I applied, but I started my 3rd and last postdoc, I hope, in Berlin. And so definitely the reasons here were return to Europe, but also to go to a bigger city. We really wanted to, we enjoyed very much Boulder, but we missed some museums or stuff. So that's what happened. But as you can see, it took a long time. From 2020, I applied for the Marie Curie. You find out 6 months or 8 months later, and then you still have some time to decide when to start. And in the meantime, I also applied for a junior group leader position with a German funding agency, and that I also got that one. So I started in April this year, so really fresh. But this is just to kind of show you how long these things can take in academia. I mean, probably many of you already know. So the second question the organizer asked me to respond is how it is to be a group leader. And I think there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And maybe we can start with the bad and the ugly first, so we end up on a positive note. So the bad is that I'm actually an accountant right now. So it's all about spending the money right, or thinking how I'm going to pay for salary of the people, and my own salary even. And it's a lot of money work, and I didn't expect so much. And then also the administrative task can really take over your whole day or even your whole life, I think, in Germany especially. It's, yeah, it's a lot. Dealing with the administration, especially I am at the Charité, which is a very big institution and has a lot of levels. You know, we have patients, research, and employees. It's really complicated, and in German. And the ugly is that I think what is really hard for me, I don't know, I put it this way, I don't know if it makes much sense, but it's really hard to have something new to say in the system, to change the system, because you kind of need the old guys to support you in your career until maybe you become one of those old guys. But I find it really frustrating. The things that are not working, sometimes you really cannot say, oh, but why don't we do it differently? Oh, but this has always been like this. And you have to kind of please the system a little bit. And then it's a very precarious job. As many of you know, my position is non-tenure track, non-permanent, so really bad. And apparently there are quite a few in Germany. There are all of these positions, let's say a minute, or even if you get an ERC starting grant, you don't get any tenure track even less a permanent position. So this is on a personal level hard, but also scientifically. How can you provide a longer scientific vision when you know that your salary or your grant is going to be over in 3 or 4 years? But the good is that you have complete freedom and you're really, really flexible. This is really true. I mean, I'm alone. I can decide what to do. I can decide, who I work with, which is really great. You don't have to work with people you don't like. You choose your own team. And I really enjoy the student and team mentoring and supervision. I really, really like that. And I feel like this is the best place to do it. And so as last advice, really quickly, so if you want to stay in academia, you really need to apply to any possible award, grant, fellowship, because maybe you don't get it, but you have a lot of material that will help you in the next application. It's really helpful, I think. And eventually maybe you get one, and then the moment you get one, it's easier to get more. I also didn't really see the two-body problem as a problem, but more as an opportunity, because somehow, sure, it worked out for me and my partner twice. We're now both group leaders in Berlin, and it helped us to restrict a little bit the option. And when you are alone and you can go anywhere, maybe it's too much. And instead of being two, somehow it really helped us to really focus on what is important for us. And I think also it makes you a bit more courageous. You can jump higher when you jump with someone else, I think. It's easier to get visas if you go for academia rather than industry, especially, I'm thinking about the US. Getting a job visa is a lot harder than an academic visa. And you can really exploit, I think, all the education and training that you get in academia a lot. And also, considering the shortage of postdoc, I think you can now really shop around and really choose the right lab and don't settle for something you don't like. I feel, postdoc now have probably a little bit of they are on the, I have the knife on the right side, I guess. So that's it. I would like to just thank you all, and please contact me if you're interested in this crazy career, and you can send me an email or use LinkedIn. Apparently I also have Twitter or X, but I don't like it, so sorry. But please contact me if you need any suggestion or help. Thank you.